Saving money is not as hard as it looks, but most beginners still fail at it. Not because they don't earn enough and not because they are careless, but because they are missing something very simple that quietly controls every money decision they make. And once you see it, saving money starts feeling surprisingly easy. Number 10. Most people are not broke because they earn less. They are broke because they are spending without realizing it. You don't feel it happening. There is no big moment where money disappears. It quietly slips away through normal daily behavior, and that is exactly why it is so dangerous. Many beginners try to save money without first understanding their current spending, and that is where confusion begins. When you don't know where your income is flowing, saving feels random, inconsistent, and frustrating. It starts to feel like money is disappearing without any clear reason. In reality, money rarely disappears suddenly. It slowly leaks through everyday decisions that feel completely normal in the moment. Small purchases, quick payments, convenience spending, and emotional reactions. Even things like buying gadgets you didn't really need, just because they looked useful or exciting. Because each decision feels small, it doesn't get noticed, but together they create a pattern that quietly drains your money. Tracking your expenses even for a short period creates visibility, and visibility changes behavior automatically. You begin to notice patterns, how often you spend, where you overspend, and what triggers it. The goal is not to fix everything immediately. The goal is awareness, because once you see clearly, you naturally start making better choices without forcing yourself. For beginners, understanding always comes before control. Number 9. Save first even when the amount feels insignificant. Most beginners wait for the right moment to start saving, when expenses are low, when income increases, or when everything feels comfortable. But that moment almost never arrives consistently. If you save only after spending, you will usually end up saving nothing, because spending expands to fill whatever money is available. And this becomes even worse when you keep buying new gadgets or upgrades that don't actually improve your life but feel exciting in the moment. Saving first changes the entire structure. Even a very small amount creates a boundary. It tells your mind that saving is not optional, it is part of your routine. The amount does not matter in the beginning. What matters is repetition. Small, consistent savings build a sense of control, and that control reduces anxiety around money. Over time, confidence grows, and once confidence grows, increasing the amount becomes easier. Number 8. Clearly separate needs from lifestyle wants. One of the biggest struggles beginners face is confusion between what is necessary and what simply feels necessary. Emotion makes many expenses look important. Convenience feels like a need. Comfort feels like a need. Entertainment feels justified after a long day. And modern gadgets are designed to feel like a need, even when they are not. But when everything feels important, nothing can be adjusted, and saving becomes difficult. Separating needs from wants does not mean removing enjoyment. It means creating clarity. You start to see which expenses are essential for living and which ones are flexible. This clarity gives you control. You can adjust without feeling deprived, and you can spend without guilt because your decisions become intentional. Sustainable saving comes from reasonable adjustments, not extreme restrictions. Number 7. Build systems instead of relying on motivation. Motivation feels powerful, but it is unreliable. It depends on mood, energy, stress, and daily circumstances. On some days, saving feels easy, but on other days, even simple decisions feel exhausting, especially when you are constantly exposed to ads, offers, and new gadget launches pushing you to spend. If your savings depend on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. Systems remove this problem. They reduce the need to decide again and again. When saving becomes automatic, it stops being a mental effort. Automatic transfers, fixed rules, and pre-decided limits reduce decision fatigue. Fewer decisions mean fewer chances for emotional spending. Systems create stability, and stability is what allows savings to grow quietly over time. Number 6. Reduce spending frequency before cutting spending categories. Most beginners try to save by cutting things completely. No eating out, no shopping, no entertainment. This feels restrictive and often leads to frustration. And when frustration builds, it usually results in overspending later. A better approach is reducing how often you spend, not what you spend on. Every time you open a shopping app, visit a store, or browse products, you expose yourself to temptation. More exposure leads to more spending, especially when you keep checking new gadgets, comparisons, and reviews again and again. Reducing frequency lowers that exposure naturally. You spend less without feeling restricted. This approach is easier to maintain because it does not feel forced. It feels natural, and natural habits are the ones that last. Number 5. Use simple rules instead of complex budgeting. Complex budgeting systems look powerful, but they often overwhelm beginners. Tracking every category, adjusting numbers constantly, and managing details requires effort, and when it feels like too much work, people stop completely. Simple rules are more effective because they are easy to follow. Rules like waiting before buying, especially for gadgets or non-essential items, spending within a fixed limit, or saving a fixed percentage reduce thinking. Less thinking means more consistency. Consistency is more important than accuracy in the beginning. Simple systems are easier to stick with, and that is what creates long-term results. Number 4. Build a small emergency buffer as early as possible. Unexpected expenses are not rare. They happen regularly. Small repairs, sudden needs, urgent payments, medical costs, or situations you did not plan for. Most beginners assume emergencies are big, rare events, but in reality, it's the small, frequent disruptions that cause the most damage to your savings. Without a buffer, even a small, unexpected expense forces you to break your saving habit. You either stop saving, delay it, or depend on credit, and once that cycle starts, it becomes difficult to recover. A small emergency fund acts like a shock absorber. It takes the impact before it reaches your main finances. Even a modest buffer changes how you react. Instead of panic, there is control. Instead of urgency, there is time to think. This emotional stability is extremely important. When you are calm, you make rational decisions. When you panic, you make expensive decisions, like unnecessary urgent purchases or replacing things too quickly. An emergency buffer is not just about money, it's about protecting your consistency. It ensures that one bad day does not destroy months of good habits. It also gives you confidence to continue saving without fear of interruption. You are no longer afraid of the next unexpected expense because you know you can handle it. Start small, but start early, because the presence of a buffer is more important than its size in the beginning. Number 3. Reduce waste before trying to increase income. Many beginners believe they need to earn more before they can save, but this belief delays progress and creates a feeling of helplessness. Waiting for higher income keeps you stuck because your habits remain unchanged. In reality, a significant amount of money is often lost through waste that goes unnoticed. Unused subscriptions that continue charging quietly, memberships you no longer use, impulse purchases made in the moment, items bought out of boredom, or gadgets that felt exciting for a few days but are now sitting unused. These are not big mistakes individually, but together they create a constant drain. The problem is not lack of income, it's lack of awareness. When you start identifying and removing waste, money immediately becomes available without any extra effort. This process does not require sacrifice. You are not removing things that add real value to your life. You are only eliminating what is unnecessary. This makes the process feel easy and sustainable. Another important shift happens here. When you stop wasting money, you start respecting it more. You become more mindful of where it goes. This awareness carries into future decisions, reducing new waste before it even happens. Increasing income is powerful, but if waste is not controlled, higher income will also disappear in the same way. That is why reducing waste is the fastest and most practical starting point for beginners. Number 2. Keep savings physically and mentally separate. When your savings and spending money are in the same place, it becomes easy to mix them. During emotional moments like stress, boredom, or excitement from buying something new, it becomes very easy to dip into savings. Separation creates distance, and distance creates control. Even a small barrier, like a different account or limited access, gives you time to think before using that money. That pause is powerful. It prevents impulsive decisions, and protected savings grow faster because they are not constantly disturbed.
Number 1. Redefine success as consistency, not perfection. Many beginners quit because they make mistakes and feel like they failed, but perfection is unrealistic. Life is unpredictable, and expenses will happen. If you expect perfection, you will feel discouraged very quickly. Consistency is different. It allows mistakes and learning. Instead of stopping, you adjust and continue. Small, repeated actions over time create real results. Saving is not about being perfect, it is about staying consistent. Bonus tip: track behavior, not just numbers. Numbers show what happened, but behavior explains why it happened. You might see your balance drop, but without understanding your actions, nothing changes. Tracking behavior helps you notice triggers: when you spend, why you spend, and what you feel before spending, especially patterns like buying gadgets when you feel bored, stressed, or excited. This awareness creates control without pressure. You do not need to blame yourself, you just need to understand yourself. And once you understand your patterns, better decisions start happening naturally. If you want to save money as a beginner, choose one habit from this and practice it consistently instead of trying to change everything at once. Comment which step you are committing to this week. Subscribe for realistic and pressure-free money guidance. And remember, if you keep buying things you don't need, one day you will realize you spent everything and got nothing that truly mattered.